Boom! Welcome to another episode of Ramble TV. We're back at episode 8. And today we're going to talk about how to land a qualified sales job in just 30 days or less, I guess. And yeah, we'll just go from there. We'll chat about our two most used strategies that we have personally have experience with. So we're not giving out bullshit and chitter and chatter. And it's actually a real actual experience. But yeah, dude. Anything you want to add to that?
No, man. Just excited for this topic. I know you had messaged me earlier discussing about it, and it's more of a chill topic, which is cool because we've had a few serious ones in a row, kind of just bounce some ideas off each other. But I would be willing to say it's one of the more valuable topics too, right? Because we're going to drop a lot of free value on this, on how to, get your foot in the door, land a good op, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, man. I'm excited for it, and I'll let you kick us off, buddy.
Cool, man. So I mean, there's got to be some question of, hey, man, why are people making these videos? How to land a qualified sales gig? Aren't all jobs the same, right? Someone says that working in marketing or customer service or programming, coding, all that jazz. But no, I think sales stands out a bit because we work off of, how good we are at selling. Right? We earn commission based. Whatever we sell, we make, right? Yeah. Unless you have a base, which is a very minimum salary if you are in sales. But the reason we make this is because there are a lot of applications. There are a lot of job opportunities out there that have a lot of like false indicators of how much money you can actually make.
I agree.
And we just want to pull all of those strings out and give you the good stuff of how to actually source opportunities yourself so you don't get stuck in this rabbit hole of jumping gigs because you don't know how to identify a good one where you can stay there long term.
No, definitely. And that last part you said there, man, there's a couple of things, right? So before we dive into our strategies, I think it's important to note that a lot of people in this industry get on offers that are oversold, overpromised, and then they're kind of left hanging, right? They're left, as we say in the trading world, bag holding, right? So, but yeah, man, I talked about it earlier today in terms of vetting offers, right? It's very important that we vet the offer that we're getting onto. And I know I'm kind of shooting ahead here, but you just had my brain thinking. It's very important to vet the offer because personally, I'm going through something similar right now where the opportunity was oversold and I'm still making money, but nowhere near what I'm used to. So now I'm back to networking, which is why this topic is really good. But I'm going to stop there. I'm getting too far ahead here, man.
There you go, man. Networking. So let's just jump into as I'm going here, my most used strategy that I've in the last 2 weeks gotten me 9 roles where at least some person is making, low 6 to, I don't want to say the high number, but it's a lot. It's multiple 5 figures a month, right? A month. And it's insane to me that it is so available. And that is creating strategic partnerships. And for someone getting into this strategic partnerships, what does that actually mean? It's having a valuable exchange for everyone involved. So let's say if like you're in the job market and there's a recruiter in front of you that has that gatekeeps all the jobs that you're looking for. A strategic partnerships means, hey, if I get access to your jobs, I have a bunch of networks of people that are really good at coding, programming, which is what the recruiter specializes in, right? So it's kind of like a trade-off of, all right, so these opportunities are available to me because of my network. And if I refer you firsthand, you're my first source of, having good people to be hired, right? So having that exchange, and that doesn't need to be with the recruiter. I have strategic partnerships with recruiter, companies, business owners, masterminds, you name it, man. I've I've gone so wide with it that all those people know my name first.
Oh yeah. No, definitely, man. First things first, in case you guys don't know, David is the networking god, right? So you will be learning a lot from him in the near future, I should say, once we get things figured out. But I love that, man. It goes in line with my first one. So I wrote it down here while you were talking, because you know me, dude, I'm scatterbrained. Value in, value out networking, right? So somebody in our mentorship speaks it a lot. You got to provide value first to expect value back. That's one of my most used strategies, is value in, value out. And that's why I initially started the vibing with chance sessions, right? Because I wanted to give as much value as I could. So then if the off chance, you know, they wanted to give value back, it can be reciprocated, because nobody likes somebody jumping in their inbox going, "Hey man, do you know any job opportunities?" It's like, I don't even know you, dude. Like, what are you doing? Right. So when the time comes, you know, I do these vibing with chance sessions. I've done a lot of coaching. I've given a lot of, you know, gold and in terms of, you know, sales structures. And I've gotten a couple of referrals, right? I've had a couple of good interviews. One offer really wasn't really for me. The second one, I'm going to hear back from the guy on Tuesday. So I know those are similar in terms of referrals and, you know, how we had it set up, but they're just worded a little bit different. So
No, that's golden. That's golden. Like literally going aligned with adding value, right? Because that's what strategic partnerships is all about, is adding value to each other. There's one recruiter, I've sent him 19 people in a month. Setters and closers.
Wow.
And I mean, he keeps having opportunities because he's scaling to, you know, 7 figures this year. So a lot of opportunities are just coming in, and he's working with 8-9 figure companies. Imagine getting plugged into one of those systems. And I'm adding value both sides, for the sales rep and the guy that I'm networking with, that I know in my network. And that adds more value to, I don't know what you call it, but my bucket, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And the awesome part about that, bro, is you're staying top of mind, right? So you're like that bridge. You're bridging the gap for both sides. So both sides have you top of mind. So when something comes up here, they're going to think of David. When something comes up here, they're going to think of David, right? And I know you're not doing it for selfish reasons. That's not what I'm saying here, people. However, we like to gain a little bit from these exchanges, right? So it's good to be that person that comes top of mind. So
And it's business. It's business, right?
absolutely, man. So go ahead and take it away with your second most used one, man.
With my second one is crafting my own outreach campaign. So pretty much what I do is I create a list of 100 people and I find out their tribe. With tribe, I mean, you know, their own community. Do they have a Facebook group? Do they spend their time on LinkedIn? Like getting a rough, like I don't do a deep dive research, but I'm getting a rough idea of who they are, what they do, what they stand for, their vision, their purpose, all that good stuff that you want to, you know, get to know before you, let's say, date a person. If we dive into the dating world. So I almost like conducting the market research in a business language. And then I just send out 10 messages per day, going the next few weeks. And if it's a big company, what I stick to is I reach out to the marketing team, because I've had my own marketing company. I've ran a marketing agency doing ads, Facebook ads, and building websites. So I kind of speak their language. And that's kind of like the group I speak to, because we got to kind of like have that techie, kind of like nerdy language where we can use. And I just identify myself way more with them. But as I'm in sales as well, and marketing is, you know, building marketing funnels and all that jazz, it's very similar to sales. Coming up with, oh, by the way, I'm a sales rep, yada, 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 is fairly easy in that conversation.
It is. Yeah, absolutely, man. God, we're so similar. Mine's a little bit different. So again, I just wrote it down. Excuse me. Believe it or not, I know this might come as a shocker to a lot of people. My second most used is cold outreach, right? For a couple of reasons. One, I like the challenge of seeing if I can get people's attention. But two, I've also found it really effective. Obviously, warm outreach is better, and that's that value in, value out, people you already know. But there's really only one way to build new connections, right? I mean, not through referrals, which is kind of being cold, right? So my strategy, what I like to do is I like to research companies in my niche that I'd want to work with, right? And then I research people inside those companies that are in similar positions or positions that I want to be in. And then I craft a nice cold outreach message, basically, value in, value out exchange to do that connection. And then once the connection is approved or they message back, whatever it is, then you start the networking, right? And that has been, I don't want to say as successful, because obviously warm is always more successful. If warm referrals weren't a thing, that would be the most successful thing for me, right? I had to example here, I posted it in our mentorship group. I had looked up account executive positions on LinkedIn. The very first company that I found that was kind of attractive to me, I made a connection request with an account manager on the team. Using the outreach method. He accepted. We chatted for a couple of minutes, and then I crafted a referral request message that I sent him, right? I got it from Hunter, I sent that to him. Within 2 hours, the recruiter had called me on my personal cell phone. He had researched me on LinkedIn. He thought I was a good fit. He called me. It was like a $75K base, all inbound account manager position with 30 accounts that you get up front to start your like commission journey, right? And I mean, it was like a 125, 150K opportunity that I got in like 10 minutes.
Yep. And those are the kind of opportunities where you either know someone on the team or you grow yourself into like an SDR and then an AE. Because most of those companies with a base is like they don't bring on AEs right away. Hey, we want to let you grow into this position. We're investing in you. They're having all that chat, right? But I feel like your approach with reaching out to people in a similar like position or in a position where you want to be in is beginner friendly. My approach is a little bit longer in terms of, all right, so I'm reaching out to the marketing in hopes of being referred to the HR or the sales manager, right? Which, there's like a 50-50 chance that it happens or not. So sometimes the marketing team is so introverted, they don't even know how to introduce people or talk to people, right?
I will say real quick, to add on just what you said, I don't mean to cut you off here, David. It works better for me than beginners because I've got experience behind me. I've got proof that I can make the money. And not that experience is everything, right? However, when it comes to starting at a higher position than at the floor, like you said, a lot of these companies are like, hey, we'll bring you in, we'll give you a nice base, you'll work your way up, we want to invest in you. I've got the proof behind me that I can close accounts and I can make money and I can do it pretty well, right? Obviously, I'm no Jeremy Miner or anything crazy like that, right? But or JD. So it's less of a gamble. It's like okay, you've got a year of proof that you can make us money, so we'll start you here instead of here, right? So that goes back to our last topic, which if you haven't checked that podcast episode out, definitely check that out, episode 7. It was a good one for sure. So
hell yeah, does skill, well, I'm not going to promote it here, but definitely does skill reflect the opportunities you get. If you want to find out, man, just go check it out. I mean, we're having a lot of fun on these calls.
Oh, it's great, man. It's great. So David, question for you, man. You're the networking guy. I'm trying to think how to frame this here.
Oh, good. I never claimed the networking guy title, but hey, man, if you say so, I mean, I gotta take some pride in it.
So why do you think, right? Why do you think networking is the key to good opportunities over what society tells us, which is putting in 100,000 job applications? Like, what is the difference, and why does one get you results faster?
I think it's just, oh man, because it's so good. We spoke about it on our last episode, Sweden's culture and all that jazz.
Uh-huh.
Networking has kind of like been ingrained into me and our society here. I don't know how it is elsewhere, but I just feel it's it has to be psychology related. Whenever I see someone give value to me first, or like constantly be willing to help, it's like a familiar feeling. All right, so this guy is a giver. This guy is a giver. He's not here to just take my money and leave, or take this
Mhm.
position and never talk to me again. It's like this guy is here to be around, and that's just what I like. And I feel like in a world of recruiters, people are so used to transactions. They are so used to, all right, so I'm a person, I'm here to get hired. It's nothing more involved. It's a company that this guy know that I can know later on. And it's just so transaction based. Like the relationships that are very, very strong in terms of like my network, they are offering more than what I asked for, because they see me as a valuable resource. Like there's just so much trust behind networking. Obviously, networking means building trust and adding value to one another. It's just so much trust behind this person that, even though you're underqualified for a position, let's say you're under 20% underqualified, but you
Yeah.
have the traits, this
Mhm.
this guy will most likely trust in my traits making up for that 20% than a
Yeah.
stranger coming in and with the right traits and all that jazz. There's not much of a sort of like a trust bolt on top of that bridge, because
Mhm.
all we do as sales reps is becoming that bridge. I hope that was a good answer for you all.
No, I love it, man. I love it. Since this is more your specialty, I just want to ask you a couple more questions. Not that I'm bad at networking, but um,
We're equally as
I'll,
good. Let's put it
I'll
that.
be I'll be humble enough and put my ego aside to say that you're a lot better at it than I am. Right? You're nice enough to say we're equally as good. I don't have tons of business owners begging me to join their team, right? So, um, another question for you, and I know this is getting a little bit off topic, but this is a networking session, so I just wanted to kind of dive a layer deeper here. Why do you think, or where do you think the negative stigma behind networking comes from? Because obviously we know it works, right? We've experienced it as experienced sales rep, but I talk to a lot of blossoming sales reps that there's just some negative stigma out there, man. Like it doesn't work, or it's too hard, or it takes too much time. Like, where do you think some of that comes from?
I think it goes in line to, like, because I've seen those posts as well, right?
Mhm.
There's like memeing about it, from like big dogs. Like it's not like some new business owner who just graduated college just came out and say, hey, networking doesn't work. But there's actually big dogs, like 7 8 figure business owners,
Oh
saying
yeah.
that networking is a waste of time, which I believe is the starting point. But I've also got to realize that, yes, it might be true, but there's different stages in which a person goes through, both in life and in business, right? When you're at that stage of 7 8 figures and you've got so much momentum, you might have networked before, but in your current stage of business, you might not be doing that because you're in an execution mode of doing something techy, or just focusing on the grind, right? Building the business behind the scenes, the back end. I think those top G's that a lot of people look up to is kind of like spraying that message, and we as consumers take that in because that's what we do. We can't think for ourselves
Yeah.
and create our own kind of like perception around someone's quotes that is
Mhm.
flown around the internet.
No, I completely agree, man. And there's one thing I want to add about that story I was talking about earlier, and you could probably edit and move it back there if you want when you throw this thing up, right? But so when I the reason that I chose to network instead of just throw my application in the pool is there was over 1,000 applicants, and that job was posted the same day that I messaged about it. Right. So I don't know how many people were called. I don't know how many people they screened. I don't know how many people the recruiter reached out to. I can guarantee you it wasn't all 1,000 in the same day. There's no way. Absolutely no way. And I didn't even put in an application and I got a call in 2 hours of messaging somebody on the team. Right. So I would be willing to bet. I'm not a gambling man, so I'd be willing to bet like, a piece of gum or something that the majority of those people who put in an application haven't been contacted yet. Right. Because they have to look through 1,000 applications. If you throw an application, you're just another application. Unless you have something that is super glaring and catches the eye, they're not gonna. I saw this statistic the other day. I don't know how accurate it is. I think it was like 85 or 90% of job openings are filled before they put a job posting out. Right?
That sounds pretty accurate.
Posting is like their last resort, right? Because they haven't been able to find somebody internally that's up to par. So then they have to, and nobody, I mean, I wouldn't want to be HR having to go through 1,000 applications in one day. Like, screw that, man. But nobody wants to do that, right? So I just wanted to add that real quick in terms of the power of networking. A, there was 1,000 applications. B, I didn't put one in. And C, I was called within 2 hours and I was asked to be moved forward in the process. And I turned it down because I was going to have to move to Miami and it's a corporate America job. If I wanted that, I mean, I would take it, right? I wouldn't be here with you. So,
yeah, man. And it's, because I've been on that other side. There was one position I was director of partnerships, and I had a little bit of an I did a favor, right? So I put in I made an application for an SDR to be hired. I think I got like 168 applications. I looked through 15. I looked through 15. I was like, all right, so these 3 are good, and I sent them over. But I never took a look at the rest of it. It's either because LinkedIn AI, or I don't know what that is, but LinkedIn filtering is passing them all off. Because all I could see was 16, like with like a click, and then the rest I had to look up myself. Because the filtering of LinkedIn, just seeing your how's it called, like seeing your resume, cover letter, or whatever it is, with the languaging that they use. But yeah, that's a really, really good point. I haven't went into applications in a long time, so I kind of like lost touch with it.
You know what's crazy? Because I wanted to see how effective they were. A couple weeks ago, I haven't told anybody this yet, so I was waiting 2 weeks to see. Okay, hang on. Let me start this from the beginning. I'm getting too far ahead of myself here. So I kind of did a little challenge, right? I wanted to see how effective job applications were. So a couple weekends ago, like this weekend, couple weekends back, I think it was the 6th or the 7th of January, if I got my math right here. I forget. It was 2 weeks ago, right? I put in, I don't remember how many, David. It was probably over 100 job applications on LinkedIn, right? Just because I wanted to see how effective they were for account executive and account managers roles. As of today, right, 2 weeks, I haven't heard back from one. Right. Then I went and applied networking, and I heard back in 2 hours from a super, super good offer. I mean, if you were looking to get into corporate America, that is like the dream role. $75,000 base, 30 accounts to generate commission from the first day you come in, all inbound leads, generous PTO, benefits, the whole 9 yards, right? That's in Miami, Florida, right? That is the dream if you want to be in corporate America and be in sales. And then I did like 100, it was over 100 regular job applications, because I'm going to tell this story inside UCM, but I just wanted to show both sides of, I did this and didn't hear back from one, and I've got a good record, right? And then I did this, and the very first one called me in 2 hours, right? Just a little story for you, man. It shows you how ineffective just throwing your application in a pool is, because at the end of the day, and I hate to say this, if you do it that way, you're just another number, right?
Yep. Man, it's so powerful, man. So powerful. Like it's literally the same. Like all the opportunities that I've landed so far, that's been like something to hold on to long term, has been through networking. The gigs that I landed before I even did any tiny bit of networking were, cold calling. You know the drill, right? Like it's here's a lead list, they don't know about us. We just, bought this list off of Fiverr or somebody else, and call them. Call them. I was like, nah, come on, man. But yeah, man, networking is a game changer. I think it's been a game changer for you and me. But yeah, I mean, there's the two strategies that we've talked about: strategic partnerships and cold outreach has been the two of mine used strategies that have just kept me fed. Now, I guess like with networking, you don't need to go on long job hunts. Like if I were to join one company yesterday, and in 2 days that marketing flow would have gone down, the next 2 days I got another one. The next 2 days I got another one. The next 2 days I got another one, up until 9. So there's just gonna keep coming like opportunities. Like you don't need to go on long job hunts because of one job that you took 4 months to find is going down because of some reason they can't really control, or they can control but they're not just doing it right.
No, man, and it happens a lot. I was on an offer that went into the tank quickly. I was making good money, and like literally within a couple of weeks, it was a sinking ship. Gonna go down with the ship, so I jumped. Right. But yeah, man, this has been really fun. I always love just chopping it up with you. This is a really important topic, and I wish we could drop a lot more knowledge here, but I mean, we got to save some of our stuff for the up and coming package that we're working on. So got a lot of stuff. I know you definitely have a lot of stuff. So were there any questions you had for me, man? I shot some questions at you before we do our little closing here.
No, I mean, I've pretty much just freestyle.
I love it.
Fuck. I don't have any questions.
So
that's
hey,
unusual for me, by the way.
I know that. That's why I had to ask. Like normal, right? This has been a really good episode. We've dropped a lot of valuable feedback. It would really help us with the algorithm if you guys can like this video. If you're feeling kind enough, subscribe. Maybe leave us a comment. But the more YouTube algorithm we can get behind us, the faster we can build, and the faster we can build, the more lives we can change. So,
boom. And then Chance will say David will take us home. So, ooh.